Hey everyone, and welcome back to Bridging the Gap. Make sure to leave a like on this video down below and subscribe. My name is Alvin. I lean right on missed issues, and I'll be representing the Republican side.
My name is Luke. I lean left on most issues, and I'll be representing the Democratic side. Gosh dang, it's been a while, Alvin.
It
Um,
has,
but yeah, so in this video, guys, we're going to be covering the 2024 Republican presidential primary. And yeah,
yeah, so I think it's pretty obvious where we're going with this. There's obviously kind of a front runner, someone right kind of behind him, and then a lot of people trailing the pack. And today we'll go through all of them, starting from the most likely to become the nominee all the way to the fringe candidates that are really long shot. So Luke, let's get started. I guess we'll start with Ron DeSantis. Now, Ron DeSantis is an interesting character. I think I still back him right now, but he's been kind of moving to the right, like more and more recently, and he realizes that's kind of his only way to win the nomination because if he runs to the left of Trump, he's just going to get swept. And he's trying to kind of present himself as a more electable, but yet further right option to Trump to the Republican primary base. And I'm not sure that's possible to do both. So, what do you think about him?
I mean, well, right now DeSantis is in a firm second place behind Trump, of course. I think on RCP he's polling around like 20-ish%, 22. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
He won Florida massively in 2022, the governor race. He won by like around 19, 20 points. And he was a very popular governor, but the thing with DeSantis, for me at least, I mean, it's pretty clear to me that he's been like just rushing to the right on a lot of issues such as abortion, guns, and culture wars. Obviously, it's nonstop culture wars with him. So, and I'm not sure how that's going to play because right now I've seen polls in his state of his approval rating dropping. I mean, it was really high before; it's like 60, but it's tanked down to around 50, which is still pretty good. But it's been falling obviously because of all the laws he's passed, and I think generally there's been lots of complaints on the ground too with his campaign so far early on. Lots of missteps, like his launch with Elon Musk was a disaster, and he's not doing very well in like New Hampshire and Iowa and early primary states. He's clashing with the local GOP there because like he's not coordinating events or anything. So I don't know. I think it's not a good start for him. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, it seems like Ron DeSantis kind of did the wrong thing. I think he kind of messed up because he used to have a good strategy as like straddling the middle and the right, where he kind of pleased everyone in the Republican Party except the very far extremists. But now
And
I'm
even
not
into
sure.
and
Mhm.
even
Yeah, and
independents too.
independents,
Yeah.
even moderate Democrats would support him in Florida polls. And he was just a likable figure, which is obviously you have to win some Democrats and independents to win by 20 points. But now I'm not sure he can do that anymore. And maybe he should have just stayed in the middle and ran in 2028 if you wanted the presidency. We'll see where this one goes. But now I think it's time to move on to the Donald.
Yeah, Donald Trump. Okay, well, right now, I mean, it's not really that surprising. The man is the front runner as the former president of the United States. He's been polling above 50 pretty consistently, and you know, I mean, obviously he's Trump, so he's expected to be up there, and he is up there. Um, Recently, he's been in the media a lot with his legal troubles. He's getting I think most recent was the classified documents case. I mean, yeah, he kept classified documents at his home that he shouldn't have had. The FBI repeatedly asked for it. He refused to give it to them, and then he showed them to people. So yeah, that's not exactly a good look. But I mean, I think something interesting about all the illegal troubles Trump is in is every time like an indictment or anything of that matter comes up, he actually shoots up in the polls. So and in the beginning of all of the presidential primary when it first started kicking off, DeSantis is actually doing pretty well, and he was pretty close to Trump. But now, indictment, I think we're two indictments in, and Trump has just shot up since then. So yeah, I don't know. It's very interesting.
Yeah, and also like Trump is obviously the front runner just because he has command of the Republican base. Like, I don't think it's really just because he was president, but
Yeah.
it's also just because, like, even before he was president, he was just kind of a figure. And he's still a figure, obviously, every time, Trump gets in the news for something, people talk about him. And it's not like that with anyone else in American politics. Even, there's a headline about Biden. Some people don't even know it happens, but if Trump gets indicted, everyone talks about it, right? So Trump's still going to have the media advantage if he tries to push anything, but at the same time, like January 6th is pretty devastating for him in the general election, but in the primary, I think that might even just help him, to be honest. So I think he's definitely, if we had a tier list, he would be in the S tier for sure, with DeSantis and B or maybe even C.
I want to say, like, even like we've talked about it before, like even if like the legal troubles like catch up to Trump and he goes to jail, like he could still run, and he still has a great shot of taking the GOP nomination, just because like I think I see there being just like an amazing chance of all the Republicans, like a large chunk of the Republican base or MAGA base, just rallying around him, and then he just wins, even if he gets convicted and he goes to jail. But yeah, that's my
Yeah.
take.
All right. Let's move on to the new people. And there's a few. Nikki Haley is an interesting person because she served under Trump and the two seem like they're somewhat amiable. She's also kind of like the third option. Like I would say she's kind of in this little group where she isn't exactly in the race unless Trump and DeSantis mess up bad. Like for DeSantis or Trump, they win it. They basically win if the other person messes up bad. But Nikki Haley has to go through two people to actually have a shot,
Mm-hmm.
which makes her a really small percent chance win, maybe 1-2%. But she is still quite achieved. She has this kind of like feel where she's obviously like Trump and DeSantis are so far to the right now that she's still to the left of them, even though she's not
Mm-hmm.
exactly there. She's Asian, she's a woman, so she has some identity politics points, but I'm not sure how far that gets her. Still, she's in there. That's
Mm-hmm.
about as much as I can say.
Yeah, I mean, I believe she was the U.S. ambassador to the UN, and she's a former governor of South Carolina. So that certainly helps because South Carolina is an early primary state, so that
Yeah,
helps her out
South
a
Carolina.
little. But yeah, I mean, right now she's just like in with the rest of the pack. I think she's like pulling maybe highest 5%, but probably more likely now around like the threes. Um, yeah, I don't know. Like obviously, yeah, she needs DeSantis or Trump to mess up to break through. That's just like the main point around that.
Yeah, that's for sure. I think this also goes for the next two people we'll talk about. Mike Pence, Mike Pence is a hated figure in the Republican Party, and he's basically only going to get into the nomination spot if basically somehow there's a Republican meetup and there's some virus in the food in that meetup because Mike Pence he really isn't gonna be elected
Yeah.
without something crazy happening. It's not even like Nikki Haley where there's a kind of a shot, even though it's polling above her right here
Mm-hmm.
at 5.7%.
Yeah.
Ever since what he did on January 6th, he's just a no for the Republican Party,
Yeah.
even though he did
Mm-hmm.
the right thing. And I will say, if not for January 6th, he would be a clear third, maybe even second. And if not for January 6th, he could potentially even be, the next president in the Oval Office, but
Yeah.
it's just not going to happen.
Yeah. Right now, Pence is like, I mean, he is third place, but third place is 6%, polling at 6%, which is not very good. And the thing is, he doesn't have much space to move because a majority of Republicans like disapprove of him, like, or near a majority. Like, I think 40, 50% in a poll I checked. of Republicans disapprove of him, which is really bad when you're running in a Republican primary. And as you mentioned, a huge part of that's January 6th, that break with Trump. I mean, yeah, I really can't. I mean, I just can't see him winning the Republican primary and getting that far just because of the amount of Republicans that don't like him.
Yeah, exactly. It's just too difficult for him, at least for now. But things can always change in politics. I mean, obviously in 2020, remember what happened with Trump. He was a nobody. 2016 rather. He was a nobody. He got up to the very top after his antics. So it's not exactly impossible, but it's just difficult. Then we have Tim Scott. Tim Scott, he's just basically, when people ask who's Tim Scott, the answer is the one black Republican senator. That's what he's known for. He doesn't really have a brand at all besides that, which is not exactly great for his presidential run, but he is sort of a more moderate senator.
I don't know.
He's not, and that's compared to the rest of the field. I'm comparing that to the rest of the field because he still has some kind of not Republican approaches to criminal justice, etc. But you can talk about him.
I mean, that's not. I wouldn't say that. I mean, Tim Scott. Okay. Well, first off, yeah, senator from South Carolina. He's very popular down there, and obviously it's an early primary state. I wouldn't say he's moderate. I would say he's like, I don't know. Like, I kind of like him in the way he portrays the country. He's very optimistic about things instead of being like, oh, hunt down the Democrats until extinction and crazy stuff like that. He's very chill about it. He's like, okay, well, just through Republican values, we're gonna push forward and achieve a brighter future. I like the optimism, but yeah, on other things in terms of his stances, I wouldn't call him a moderate. He did work with Booker to try to get a police reform bill passed, but I mean that's not necessarily I don't know. They're just working together. I mean, extreme Republicans sometimes work with progressive Democrats to work to block legislation or stuff like that. I mean, it doesn't necessarily make him a moderate. And I will say he did kind of stand behind Trump even after January 6th. So I mean, I think he is kind of slimy a little bit in that sense, as politicians often are. So I don't know. Yeah, it's iffy with him. I mean, yeah, it's something.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's a slimy candidate. I think people on the right would acknowledge that as
I mean,
well.
you could look up and down. I think for the most part, I think he's maybe less slimy than some other ones, Trump obviously, and then DeSantis, Haley, even she flip-flopped on Trump, but there's always a little bit of slime on any politician you look at. But yeah.
All right. I guess we'll move on to the more long shots from here. Some people.
Let's not. I don't think this guy.
Yeah.
Some of these are just random. Okay, we can cover.
Doug Burgum is interesting.
I mean, some of these these are the long shots, right?
Yeah, these are real long shots. If you don't have much time, I don't blame you for clicking off the video now. Doug Burgum is very long shot, but he is at least a governor, so we can talk about him.
Yeah.
He's kind of impossible, and I don't even know if he's gonna get on stage to spice things up.
Yeah, governor of North Dakota, polling at 0.3%. Massive, I know. Big numbers, people. Yeah, I don't know. I can't really see this guy being the next president. I don't know why he's running, but okay, there you go.
Yeah, he's at 0.3%. At least he made it into the RCP average, so I guess he deserves a mention. But 0.3% is, he maybe gets one person every time they poll that wants to vote for him. He
happens to be from North Dakota. Yeah.
He's not known for anything. He doesn't have any, he is pretty far right, but he's not known for any specific policies at all. There hasn't been one national headline about him ever, which just makes it really difficult for him. I think we can just move on. Christie, our former governor.
Yeah. Okay. Should I?
Go
Yeah, I'll cover
ahead.
this one.
Go ahead.
So yeah, Christie. I guess this is the first of the three anti-Trump candidates, like who one of the few candidates that's been really on Trump's butt here. I'm not sure I'm allowed to say the A word, but yeah, like he's unlike a lot of the other candidates. He's willing to go after Trump, like a lot, and just like attack him over on January 6th, his policies, etc. And he's I mean, obviously he's the former governor of New Jersey, and he has an ability to work with Democrats, which I think as a Democrat I think is nice. So like I think he's a little more toward the moderate side. I mean, obviously, I mean, he's not like, I mean, he's gonna have his problems running, I will say. Similarly to Mike Pence, very, very unfavorable. I think he's even more unfavorable than Mike Pence among the Republicans, just because I bet because of the anti-Trump MAGA nature. But so yeah, it's gonna be really hard for him to break through. But one thing I've heard is of all the candidates, he's the most likely to try to bring Trump's poll numbers down. Like as in, like for example, like when he ran in 2016, he was basically the person that ended Marco Rubio's campaign just with a quip on the debate stage, and he completely tanked his poll numbers. So the thing is, like, if he can do that with Trump and shake up the race, so yeah, like he could be the person that provides the room for that second or third candidate to get up there. So yeah, that's what I'll say about Christie.
Yeah, I think Christie also has like you said, he kind of has that potential to jump the rest of these contenders like Nikki Haley, etc. Just because he is a national name, kind of at least. The thing is for Christie, besides him needing to get in shape to have a chance, Christie just isn't exactly likable as a personality. He doesn't exactly speak with a lot of charisma. He's kind of more of a spoiler than anything else, which is what he did in 2016, obviously, with what he said. But it's not like he can really displace DeSantis or Trump. DeSantis and Trump are just, they're exactly like media figures, which just makes it impossible to displace them. And everything is just not adding up for any of these candidates. So we can just move on. Larry Elder, he tried in California in 2021 to get rid of Newsom. He just didn't have a shot.
He failed miserably.
Even though the media hyped it up significantly, it just didn't work. Provides a little bit of racial diversity on that debate stage. I'll give him that.
If he makes a debate stage.
If he makes the debate. I mean, he can probably make the first debate. Maybe. He's over here at 0.7%, which is like, I don't know. It's hard. He gets like some support in like half the polls. So I don't know. It's really difficult for him to do anything. He's from California. Doesn't have any state advantage at all, like Haley or Scott. What do you think?
I think he's done, completely done. Like, there's no way he wins. Yeah, I don't even know. Like, he's just running to run. I don't get it.
Yeah, maybe he likes losing by big margins.
Yeah,
we'll move on.
Yeah, he did run in Cali.
Will Hurd.
Do you want to cover this?
Sure. I mean, Will Hurd is just like one of the guys that ran in 2020, right? Right? I think I saw his
2020.
Yeah,
no, definitely not 2020.
Not 2020.
No, certainly not.
I know he's a big Trump critic, so he's just like, yeah, he's not exactly a Trump lover, but he's kind of irrelevant. Doesn't really get any support. I thought I saw something about him running in 2020. I might probably messed up his name. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think it seems like he's the most moderate Republican running. I will say that, and he's a former congressman from from Texas, like like one district that basically there's one district in Texas that basically hugs the border, and he represented that district. So I mean, yeah, I mean, it could help him on like issues like immigration and such, but yeah, him being a moderate who's anti-Trump, I don't really see him winning. So
Mm.
yeah,
Oh
I
yeah,
mean, just
I confused him with Bill Weld. Bill Weld and Will Hurd, kind of similar names. Oh well, we move
yeah,
on. We have Asa Hutchinson, also known as Asa Hutchinson, just because he's not going to win at all. You can go ahead and talk about
yeah,
Asa.
former governor of Arkansas. I mean, yes, I mean, yeah, is it governor running? He's the third and final kind of anti-Trump candidate, I would say. Uh, who said like he said he had reservations about like voting for a convicted criminal if Trump's convicted and stuff like that. And I will say he has, I mean, well, he is a southern governor. He has done some moderate things in terms of like LGBTQ rights and stuff, and making like some minor steps in the right, uh, the liberal direction, I guess I should say. But you know, yeah, I mean, I think just again, anti-Trump nature. I don't. That doesn't win a GOP primary. Um, yeah,
Yeah, he's also like I don't know. He's just not liked by anyone, literally anyone. Uh Maybe if Arkansas was the first state on the primary list, he would have a minor shot, but he just no, just no.
this isn't worth
We could
it.
probably skip Harry Johnson, kind of a
Yeah,
joke. Uh I don't know if I should give a chance to
yeah. Let's speak. Let's talk about Ramaswamy. He's interesting.
okay,
Ramaswamy.
Ramaswamy.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, I think yeah, he's a CEO of a corporation. Basically, it's like what's the name of the corp? I don't know. It's against wokeness. It's a corporation so focused on stopping wokeness, and he kind of reminds me of like an Andrew Yang esque candidate, but on the right. He's bringing new ideas to the table. Not necessarily good ideas, in my opinion, but he's bringing ideas. I think he mentioned he wanted to bring up the voting age to 25, for example, um, and stuff like that. So yeah, like I mean, I don't know, like he right now he's for being like a nobody candidate in my opinion, like just kind of came out of nowhere. Um, he's doing pretty decent. Like right now on RCP, he's polling in sixth, 2.4%, tied with Christie. Not too bad, I'll say. I mean, I will say like he got in really early, so he did carve out like he did make moves to get some people on his side really early, and I think he'll definitely make the debates. Um, but yeah, I don't know. It's a new face, and he's really young too. So I don't know. He might.
Yeah.
I don't know. He might break through somehow, but we'll see. I
He
mean,
might have a
time will tell.
future in the Republican Party. I'll give him that much. He's probably not going to win this for sure, but it's kind of like, I don't know, he's kind of mini everyone else. Like he's mini DeSantis in the fact that he likes to fight against wokeness. Is kind of mini Trump in the sense he's a businessman that kind of is like an outsider. He doesn't really have that lane that Andrew Yang did. Like he's like the math Asian guy, right? Like this guy doesn't really have that exact lane, so I think he's gonna go less far than Yang, but I could be wrong. But he definitely has a future, I think, if he doesn't do what Yang did and form a third party. Uh Francis Suarez again, adds a bit of racial diversity to the field. He is polling not exactly.
Yeah, I think he's too new.
Yeah. He's like not even on here right now, I think. So that's just like not great for him, but he's on the ballot. I think that's all we can really say about him. Like,
I mean, I could say a bit. I mean, right? He's like, I mean, he's the mayor of Miami. So there's that most notably, and there was a headline recently of him asking, like he got asked a question related to China, and his response was, "What's a Uyghur?" Now, if you don't know, Uyghurs are obviously an oppressed group in China that are, in essentially concentration camps, forced to work against their will and assimilate into, you know, the Mandarin culture and so on, the Mandarin language, and you know, yeah, generally he should know that, especially if you're a Republican running for president. And the fact that he didn't looks really bad for him. So I think starting your campaign off with a gap like that is not really good.
Yeah, I meant in terms of like not saying much about him. Like I meant like relevant to the race. He's on the
Uh
ballot. Like that's all she really is. She's a
yeah,
name because
yeah.
there's not much he can really do. So
Yeah, I don't know. He might not even make the debates. I don't even know. Yeah, I'm not sure.
yeah. I guess we'll move down.
Anyone? Oh, these are just yeah.
Yeah,
If
moving
they jump
down,
in,
it's kind of just like the speculation that's just not going to probably happen. So
yeah, I don't think any of these people are getting in.
that's about it, guys. Back to the predict it. We have Trump far in the lead. DeSantis, I think he's overrepped here. I think buying no on him is a good move, and buying yes on Trump is a good move as well. Lukey just turned
Betting
18,
advice.
so yeah, not legally binding. Don't sue me, please, if that was illegal. But you guys should not bet. You guys should subscribe and like the video and share this with your friends. That's what you should do. Um, and yeah, we'll be probably posting more often. I know we promised that in the past and didn't follow through, but the thing is, obviously this was our senior year of high school, so we took time off to kind of enjoy it. And now that
Yeah,
we've graduated, there's not much to do in terms of the summer in terms of schoolwork, because it's a transition over to college, and hopefully we'll keep this going during college as a thing because Luke and I aren't going to the same college. You want to reveal where you're going, Luke?
no, I don't think
No,
I
gonna
will.
gonna keep it private.
But
Private.
I'm very happy with it.
All right.
That's what I'll say.
Yeah. Um, we'll say that we're both in good positions to finish this channel at least until 2024. And maybe beyond if we go viral. I don't know. Thanks guys for watching. Like the video, subscribe, leave a comment for the YouTube algorithm, and yeah, share. What do you have to say?
All I have to say is see ya.
See ya.